Hello there, and welcome back to the There I Said It channel. Now, for today's video, I'll be discussing the Nigerian debt and how we service it with oil. I'll be running some numbers by you, and I'll be giving you kind of like where it started, what that means for us currently, and whether or not there's any light at the end of the tunnel. Let's get into it. So, in the 1960s, in 1960, Nigeria gained independence, and it was a fun time to be a Nigerian. We had the hope and possibility of building the agricultural industry and several other industries. Our economy was flourishing. We were building roads, and we were thinking about building schools. We were building schools and all of that. Nigeria was a nice place to be, economically at least. So, in the 1970s, or rather when the 1970s rolled around, it became slightly different because Nigeria discovered oil. Oil was quick money, oil was fast money, oil was a lot of money. And so Nigeria began to depend heavily on oil for providing money for different things that it had to pay for. And so as time went on, the prices of oil in the global market dropped. And suddenly Nigeria did not have enough money to pay for some of the nice clothes that it wanted to put on. Naturally, we had to borrow in order to do some of the things that we needed to do. And so one of the major communities, or one of the major unions, one of the major groups that Nigeria borrowed from was the Paris Club. Now, the Paris Club consists of 15 very rich countries: the US, Japan, the UK, Australia, some of these countries, right? And currently, the Paris Club is what at some point in time, the Paris Club is what Nigeria owes a lot of money to, right? And so, in order to service this debt, Nigeria developed a different way. We didn't develop a different way, no. We only had one option because there was only one market we decided to invest money in, and that was oil. The only way Nigeria could service her debt was with oil, because most of our other industries were left untouched, and we didn't have exactly as much coming out from those other industries that were native to Nigeria. And so we decided to use oil to settle our debts. So basically, this is what the picture looks like, right? Every day at this point in time, Nigeria gives a certain amount of barrels to a particular interest that we owe money to, and this is how we service our debt. Now, let me bring you back to a different scenario. Early this year in Enugu, a meeting was held, and that meeting was carried out to investigate the oil borrowing thing, exactly who we owe, how much we owe them, how much we've been giving them, exactly what the statistics is on the whole borrowing thing, right? It was carried out, and it was discovered that at some point in time, NNPCL had borrowed money from some of these interests, like the Paris Club of these countries, and we owed a lot of money to them. And in order to service that debt, NNPCL had decided that it would give a certain number of barrels every single day in order to service this debt. Now, I'm not talking about when I say every single day, I'm not talking about 1,000, 2,000. I'm talking 270 something thousand. I think it's 273,000 barrels every single day. Mind you, a barrel is around 70. At the time, a barrel was around $72 for just one, and we were giving 270 something every single day. Let me do the math on that. I haven't done this math yet. Okay, so let's just do it rough. I'm not going to use current numbers for a reason, that being the war, and we don't know where it could go. But let's say $70 per barrel, and we are giving 273,000. Oh my god. Okay, 273,000 barrels a day. That's $19 million. That's $19 million worth of oil that we're giving out every single day. Now let's multiply this number by 365 days, so we know how much we give out every single year. 365. So every year we pay nearly 7 million every single year with using oil to service debt. This is so very sad. This is very annoying. Anyways, there's more. In 2010 is when Dr. Ngozi was our finance minister, she said something, right? This is what she said. She stated that at considering our current capacity and our capabilities, Nigeria would not be able to survive. If this is a summary of the article, right? Nigeria would not be able to survive if we paid what we should every single year, considering what we had in our finances and also in terms of oil, right? We would not have extra money to build schools, we would not have extra money to fix roads, we would not have extra money to deal with a lot of the issues that faced everyday Nigerians. And so what she wanted to do at that point was not make it seem like Nigerians were just sitting on their asses and asking for money every single month or every single year in order to fill up their budgets and carry out some of the projects that they would carry out. And she also wanted to make it seem like not only were we actually working, she wanted to curb some of the bad habits. This is all the money, all the people that are dipping their hands into the money that we've borrowed, into the money that we gain from whatever little oil we get to keep for ourselves. The people that are so corrupt that they embezzle this money, and then not only are we not able to cover the debts that we owe, even the interest, we have to add more on top of it almost every single year, right? She wanted to clean up the system basically. But would that work? I think we've seen that it hasn't, because as time goes on, she left, and the debt has grown from billions, as it was in the 2010s. At the time she wrote that article, it was 34 billion. It has grown from billions to trillions as it currently stands. Now, let's move on to one more fact. The original reason why I went into this deep dive was to find out, because I thought it was the Shells and the Chevrons and oil companies that we gave our oil to, and then they would come back to Nigeria and sell that oil to us, something that we are giving to them, right? It was very exploitative, and so I decided to do my research. I thought that was it. And so when I did research on exactly the relationship, the oil relationship that we have with these oil companies, I found that it was something different. Now, while Nigeria gives oil to service debt to some of these other countries that we borrowed actual money from, we service a different kind of debt to these oil companies. So think of this scenario. You have a house, and in your house you have an apple tree, right? So in that apple tree you have to pluck apples from it. Everybody loves apples, and you have a couple of neighbors that are coming in with their representatives. Say the first son of your house comes to your house and say, oh, we like your apple tree, we'd like to get some of it, we pay for it, of course, if you let us in and take some of your apples, right? And so you agree, okay, but look, this apple tree, I'm going to take 55% of everything that's in this apple tree, and then I'll share 10%, 2%, 5% amongst the rest of you that want to take from this particular apple tree that I have. And so you let them in, right? When the time comes to pick the apples, you're not there. You don't provide any equipment, you don't provide any financial support, you don't do anything. And so you don't play your part in the picking of the apples. And because you don't play your part, they have to do the work for you. So they spend the extra, however much extra it takes to pick your parts for you. And so once they've taken all the apples, right, you tell them, you know what, you tell them that since you were not there, you didn't provide anything in the picking of the apples, you tell them to take more apples. So what I'm laughing is because this country is fish. So it's funny because we are supposed to provide, as the Nigerian government is supposed to provide equipment, they are supposed to provide funds for the drilling of oil, but they don't do that. I don't know whether they embezzle the money or what they do with the money they're supposed to use to drill the oil that we Nigerians are supposed to use to send to our refinery and then sell that oil for Nigerians at what is supposed to be a cheap rate. They don't provide the money, they don't put their hands into bringing out that oil. And so basically once these foreign oil companies dig out that oil, they'll give some to Nigerians, and then Nigerians will tell them, oh, because we did not dig this oil that is in our land, we will give you as dash. I don't know if maybe I'm the only one that's seen how stupid this actually is. But it was quite vexing when I found this out. And so that's the relationship we have with these oil companies. And so what is light at the end of the tunnel, if you ask me, based on what Dr. Okonjo-Iweala said, it doesn't seem like we will be able to service this debt using oil alone. And so Nigeria 100% has to diversify. Nigeria has to stop being so dependent on oil. And mind you, oil counts for about 80 to 90% of how we service our debt, a very huge amount. This shows you how reliant we are on oil. So Nigeria has to diversify. So one of the things I feel like we could take out of this as sort of like a positive is that what this means is that there are a lot of industries, untapped industries in Nigeria that Nigerians could take over, right, and start businesses around, and using those businesses, they can make a lot of money. Nigeria can make a lot of money for itself. There is so much untapped potentials, and that's why you see a lot of foreign companies coming into Nigeria and investing in things like agriculture. And you know, they are the ones that are selling us some of the clothes that we have. We sometimes buy wood from other countries, and there are a lot of things that other countries provide for us because we haven't invested enough into these industries in order to develop these things for ourselves. When 100% we could do that, we could do it, but we don't. And I feel like that's an opportunity that may arise from the end of this, because I don't want to end it on bad news. I have more bad news, and I feel like I might have to do a part 2. But yeah, that's it. That's how Nigeria started depending on oil, because it's just too good. It was too good, too fast, too sweet, right? We couldn't get unhooked. Anyways, that's it for today's video. If you liked it, please like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to see you on Saturday. I'll be dropping another video on Saturday. And that's it. There, I said it.